born while Gilberto was stationed at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. During his early childhood, Morales and his younger brother spent a good deal of time at Fort Bragg, a sprawling military base in Fayetteville, North Carolina. One of the largest military complexes in the world, Fort Bragg was home to the 82nd Airborne and Special Forces, including the John F. Kennedy Special Warfare Center and School, which trains Green Berets. It was also where his grandparents had retired. They bought a house near Fort Bragg in Spring Lake, and his grandfather became an important figure in Morales' life. He filled young Morales' head with stories about his exploits in the Korean War. And when he visited the base, Guillermo always seemed to be greeted warmly by soldiers who would laugh while they reminisced about their days in his unit. Morales was proud of his father, especially during All-American Week, when soldiers of the 82nd Airborne would conduct public training demonstrations on the base. Holding his mother's hand, young Morales was spellbound at the sight of his father and other paratroopers dropping from the sky during training exercises. He knew from that moment he wanted to be in the Army. When he was a teenager, his father landed a job at the Pentagon and moved the family to Fredericksburg, Virginia. For Morales, it meant starting over. But shortly after enrolling at James Monroe High School, he met Catherine Barksdale, and his life changed. She was outgoing, a perky, pretty blonde. Morales was quiet but handsome, with thick biceps and powerful legs from running and playing soccer. He had a bright smile and loved fast cars and action movies. They would sit in the bleachers and talk for hours about their friends and family. They dated off and on for the rest of high school, but inside, Morales knew she was the one. As he was nearing graduation in 1996, Morales had to decide about his future. There was no pressure from his family. They were always supportive. In his heart, he knew he didn't want to go to college, and when a recruiter who had been trying to get him to enlist for years called, he knew it was time. Morales decided that if he was going to enlist, he wanted to be part of something special, an Army Ranger. While training would be long and arduous, Morales welcomed the challenge and was confident he could excel. He told himself over and over again that a Morales never quits, never fails. To get ready, he trained hard. He began running longer distances and lifting more weights. He wanted to be in the best shape of his life. He was 18 when he reported to basic training in September 1996. And after basic, he joined the Rangers for even more training. The whole time, though, he thought of Catherine. Before he left, they had started dating again. And during the Ranger indoctrination program, known as RIP, he kept a photograph of her pinned inside his patrol cap. He didn't have it laminated, so he covered the picture with Scotch tape to waterproof it. Whenever things got rough, whenever he felt so exhausted he couldn't move, he would lift his hat and take a peek at the portrait of Catherine, and this would give him the inspiration to keep going. Ranger School was divided into 3 phases, each one 3 weeks long, and during his downtime he daydreamed of Catherine. One day he reached a conclusion. He wanted to spend the rest of his life with her. So a few months after graduating Ranger School and joining the 1st Ranger Battalion, Morales headed with a buddy to a mall in Savannah, Georgia, where he was stationed. When they arrived, Morales told him he was going to buy Catherine an engagement ring. He picked out a gold band with a half-carat diamond, which he financed. If he was going to do it, he wanted a ring that stood out. On a chilly October night in 1998, he took Catherine on a dinner cruise on the Savannah River. Before he left the base to pick her up, he made sure he stuffed a small box with the ring in his pocket. During dinner, they made small talk, but the tough young ranger was uncharacteristically nervous. Would she say yes? What if she said no? It would be embarrassing, especially in front of everyone on a cruise ship. As the boat slipped under the Savannah River Bridge, with the brilliant night skyline of the city in the background, he pulled out the box with the ring, reached for her hand, and knelt. When she saw the glittering stone, she jumped up and wrapped her arms around him. It was yes. They were married a few months later. It was an exciting time in his life. He was married to his high school sweetheart and was being deployed overseas for training missions. In a 3-year span, he was deployed to Botswana, Germany, and Egypt. He loved being a ranger. They were a band of brothers, all young, in top physical shape, and poised for action. Eventually, Morales moved up in rank to sergeant. But the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001 changed his life. He watched news accounts of hijacked planes smashing into the World Trade Center in the Pentagon. He was outraged when the buildings collapsed, killing thousands. He was angry when he saw a hijacked